Well, good afternoon, everybody, and what a weekend we have had. We are back here at the Red Bull Ring, 4.318 miles here at Austria. It's a pleasure to be back. 21 laps ahead of us, 35 minutes maximum. 10 corners here at this very circuit, 5 to the left, 5 to the right here at round 7 of the Euroformula Open Championship. My name is George Morgan. Joining me here as well is Ian Salvestrin. Welcome back, Ian.
Thank you, George. Great to be here for this, the almost penultimate round. That's in 2 weeks' time at Monza. This is the Red Bull round, the most picturesque circuit in the world. We've been saying that all weekend, and we've had 2 cracking races so far. Thankfully, race 3 will be held, we think, for the moment, on a dry circuit. The cars are out on their installation laps at the moment. They'll come round and we will race for 21 laps. So we'll almost complete a Grand Prix distance, almost 300 kilometres of racing here in 7 of 9 for 2022.
Yeah, absolutely right indeed. And a different grid lineup. We will, of course, go through it very, very shortly. But the story so far, Oliver Goethe taking his 10th win of the season in race 1. We then had the Grand Prix de Pau winner, Vladislav Lomko, take the win in race 2 in dominant fashion, to say the least. But I think that one of the big stories is the fact that our current pole sitter in this race here today, Francesco Simonazzi, with one of the most impeccable drives we have seen all weekend, managing to nestle in a wonderful P2 result after managing to usurp Josh Mason. Obviously, there were penalties distributed across the order, which led to that particular result. But what a weekend it's been. Josh Mason, the man who ended up claiming P3 in that previous race, is now in P3 again. He's got Freddie Lubin and Francesco Simonazzi ahead of him. Ollie Goethe, as opposed to starting from the back of the grid in race 2, he starts from P6 this time, just alongside Vladislav Lomko as well. He's got Ayrton Simmons there too. Alex Garcia at the back with Daniel Nogales, who is making his Euroformula Open debut this weekend after competing in Spanish F4 this season. Plenty of stories to bring you, certainly, folks. We're going to be heading into one final run here this weekend. And there's your pole sitter, Francesco Simonazzi. He's been knocking on the door of a victory for the last few rounds now. He starts out at grid 1 in car 84 for the BVM Racing team. Alongside is Frederick Lubin, the Brit. Grid 2 for Team Moto Park, also so close to a win. He's got one final shot. We've got 7 races, including this one in just a moment, to decide the 2022 championship. Josh Mason has already won a couple of times in 2022, has rarely been outside the top 4 all weekend. So the British drivers, 3, 4 on the grid. Oh, sorry, 2 and 3 on the grid. On grid 4 is Christian Mansell. Nigel Mansell winning the 1987 Austrian Grand Prix at this very circuit, some 3 decades ago, and now Christian starts out of grid 4 in car 71. This is the race 2 winner this morning at Vlad Lomko, the adopted French driver. Another victory this morning, despite the penalties which were dished out for, dare I say, track limits. Vlad Lomko out of 5 alongside the current championship leader, Oliver Goethe. A frustrating race, but he didn't lose his cool. He just picked his way through, and he starts out of grid 6 in just a moment for this, the final race of the weekend, just ahead of Ayrton Simmons. What a return to form for both the Spanish-British driver, or the mainly British driver, depending on which day of the week it is, and of course the Spanish team, Team DriveX, back with us for the last 3 rounds of the 2022 Euroformula Open Championship. He led race 2 this morning after no testing, no simulator work at all. And he starts at grid 7. They've done a remarkable job to prepare and set that car up. This is Alex Garcia, the Mexican, with the DNF this morning. And he will start 1 position ahead of Daniel Nogales 1 year ago, racing in the Spanish Kart Racing Championships. Spanish F4 for the early part of 2022. A tough introduction to Euroformula Open, but he's back on the grid after a DNF in race 2 this morning. Daniel Nogales, the young Spaniard, out of grid 9, the second car for Team DriveX. Yeah, absolutely right. Nogales will be looking forward to this very race. We've got highlights now from the races we've already had this race weekend here at Red Bull Ring. Ollie Goethe getting them off to a flyer in race 1. Of course, he had Vladislav Lomko for company, who did not lie down for the Danish driver heading in towards turn 1. It would be Lomko who would take the lead, with Christian Mansell behind. A collision, though, between that of none other than Daniel Nogales and, of course, Alex Garcia as well, heading around that particular corner. We also had Vlad Lomko in the mix of a fight. Francesco Simonazzi has been quick all weekend and once again showed a great display until a spin caught caught him off guard, heading through Rima's curve at turn 3. Oliver Goethe would then go and take his 10th win of the season with Christian Mansell in second. Vladislav Lonko would take P3. They lined up for the second race as well. Ayrton Simmons getting them off to a big start. Josh Mason got the launch of his life, moving up into second place. In behind those as well, they also had Freddie Lubin, who was marshalling off a defensive display against Christian Mansell, running off wide Mansell, heading through turn 1. But then, of course, we saw Vladislav Lonko finally take Josh Mason, leading through Rimas. Simonazzi leading this contingent of cars, as well as Lubin and Mansell fought again, allowing Ollie Goethe to go ahead of Mansell. It would be Lonko who would take the win, though, in race 2, with Simonazzi getting an overall podium alongside Josh Mason as well, 2 and 3 respectively. But here are the spectators, obviously looking forward to yet another dazzling display. Very shortly we'll get underway here in race 3. And all the cars now lining up, ready for the start. Here is the grid. We have got Francesco Simonazzi, the Italian, who's been knocking on the door of a win all season long. It's getting closer. Frederick Lubin in second as well. Josh Mason in third. With Christian Mansell fourth, Vladislav Lonko fifth, Oliver Goethe in sixth. Ayrton Simmons is in seventh, with Alex Garcia lining up in eighth. Daniel Nogales, fresh from Spanish F4. He is here racing in his first weekend. He starts in ninth. Simonazzi, who starts on the front row. Now, this is a huge opportunity for the Italian. His pace in race 2 was extraordinary. Managed to get himself a second-place spot as well, even despite a penalty he received 2, obviously across the grid. We experienced penalties through turns 9 and 10. That seems to be the predominant point on the track. So we'll have to keep our eyes peeled as to whether that could be a huge factor in this race, Ian.
Certainly, it's one of the corners where there is not a gravel trap. It's not self-policing, so it's... Well, in football, the ball goes over the line. It's easy to call. It's very different in motor racing and has been a polemic in the last few years in world motorsport. Let's hope it doesn't affect race 3 too much, and let's hope for the best for the small, but very successful over the last few decades Italian racing team BVM with their boy 84, Frank Simon, out of grid 1. Team Moto Park down in the garage preparing for this. The 7th last race of a 9-event season. From here, we go to Monza in 2 weeks' time. And then at the Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona, Spain, for the season final. You just got a glimpse of our former driver, Marcus Siebert, who's working it down with the Motor Park team this weekend. A few of our former drivers here at the circuit. Leonardo Pulcini, who just took the victory earlier this afternoon in the GT Open category. Also Harrison Scott, who won the title in 2017 with RP Motorsport here at the circuit as well. As the 1-minute board goes up and the engines fire into life. Of course, we should point out this is one of the few open wheel, in fact, racing categories in the world, which is still officially an open class, along with Formula Nippon in Japan, or Super Formula Nippon in Japan, and IndyCar, and of course Euroformula, leaving aside F1. Everything else a single make category. This is still an open, in the literal sense, championship.
Yeah, and you still have the 2 engines as well, Spies HWA engines too, and Simonazzi will see this as a great opportunity to get some serious points, not to mention his first race win in this championship. We'll look forward to seeing how he gets on. As you can see, the 15-second board now being raised high and aloft as the drivers will make their way out on the formation lap. Big moment. Freddie Lubin as well, who we've seen defend for his life before. There is Alex Garcia, who certainly had a very tricky last few rounds, but do not count out the Mexican. Very quick as well, as the cars now leave their grid slots. They'll then make their way down through towards turn 1, aggressively warming up the tyres. Now, what's happened here? Goethe getting a slow getaway. Interesting to say the least. Hopefully that's not a problem. The Danish driver just getting back on track, but it does mean he'll have to catch up. He's meant to be in grid slot 6. He's got Ayrton Simmons and Alex Garcia and Daniel Nogales that are meant to be lining up behind him. They, of course, getting a better jump, getting underway for the formation lap, so they're going to have to reorder themselves out when they head to the grid. But Simonazzi there leading the way. He'll want to get used to this, that's for sure. Let's see if he can keep hold of it. Josh Mason in third. He'll be hoping for yet again another win. He could yet crown himself a 3rd-time race winner. What are your thoughts on that, Ian?
We'll soon see. We've got 21 laps to race. As we take a look at the standings of Oliver Goethe, he's got, well, a decent lead in the championship. The battle really is between 2nd and 3rd. There's only 20 points after Lonko's win this morning. Oliver Goethe on 397, Christian in P2 on 314, and Vladislav Lonko in P3 on 294 points. And then we go to Josh Mason. He's 4th in the series on 194. Frederick Lubin at 201 points in P5 in the series. The pole sitter Francesco Simonazzi, he's 6th, an increasing. In fact, in every round, he's just got better and better with his performance. The pole sitter, he is 6th in the series on 278 points. If he does take a win, still a lot of racing, almost 100 kilometres of racing here this afternoon. If he does, he may well shoot up into 4th in the standings with 2 rounds remaining in 2022. Simonazzi lights up the rear Michelin tyres. The track is dry. We have had a few drops of rain, a few showers earlier in the afternoon, but we're hoping to complete this on a dry circuit. This amazing Red Bull ring, replacing the former ferocious Österreich ring, which was built back in 1970, and of course now owned by the most famous energy drink in the world.
Yeah, absolutely right indeed. As we now see the cars now make their way into their grid slots. 4.318 kilometres, that's 2.683 miles here at this particular circuit of Red Bull. Certainly as they now wind their way up through towards the start, you can see Simonazzi there just about to head into the first grid slot. He'll be very keen to take advantage of this situation in behind Lubin, who will certainly look to make the jump as well. Obviously, plenty of opportunities across the grid. Josh Mason looking for that 3rd win. Christian Mansell will also be looking to return to winning ways as well. There's the scenes of the BBM garage, who watch on. The team obviously looking on, hopeful at this point, Ian.
We wait for the green flag at the back of the grid. Race 3, round 7, the 2022 Euroformula Open Championship. The 5 red lights, and for the final time this weekend here at the Red Bull Ring in Austria, we race. Great start from Lubin from the outside front row of the grid. Not the best start from Simonazzi, but now he gets some traction. He'll be on the outside as they race into turn 1. Super start by Mansell, who tries to drive up into 3rd place. He's in 4th behind Lubin and Mason. Simonazzi in 2nd, but it is indeed Frederick Lubin who leads them up the field for the first time.
Yeah, and getting a good start as well. Freddie Lubin now who takes the lead. Alongside, though, you've got more cars peeling on through. Vladislav Lomko looking to try and take an advantage. Simonazzi dropping down the field. He was on top. He was in 1st place on the grid. He's down to 3rd. Lomko now letting fly. This time at Freddie Lubin as they now head down towards Slosh Gold. Lomko now opens the door as they go side by side now. And Lomko, who's bidding to become a 2-time winner this race weekend, cannot quite find his way through, though Goethe is working hard to try and move his way up the field. He's right behind Christian Mansell and has done so well. He blocked off the approach, certainly from that of Josh Mason, as they now peel their way through the Roche and Firth curves. It's Lubin on top. He defended the lead. Lomko in 2nd. Simonazzi, he needs to recover. He's in P3.
He certainly does from pole position. He's back to 3rd. Good start from Oliver Goethe. As the first of the 2 DriveX cars go through, there's Ayrton Simmons, and pleased to say that Daniel Nogales has got off the line comfortably. He's in the race on his debut in Euroformula Open. They come across the line for the first time. We'll check the order for you. Frederick Lubin from the outside of the front row of the grid in position 1 at the end of lap 1. Vlad Lomko, as we see Ayrton Simmons. There is the Brit in position 7. Simonazzi in P3 ahead of Mansell, Oliver Goethe, Josh Mason, Simmons, Garcia, and the Spaniard Daniel Nogales. Lubin up the hill as Vlad Lomko gets the slipstream. Look at Ollie Goethe on the back of Christian Mansell, who tries to cover off the championship leader. He says no problem and shoots to the outside where there is grip on the exit of turn 3. Right behind him is Josh Mason. And he goes the outside. We take a look at a replay at the exit of turn 1. Over the ripple strip, a ragged exit from Mansell. There is Mason, fights the 21 car like a rallycross machine. Mansell has to defend from Goethe, goes in too deep. Ollie will cut back. He's on the inside, which will now become the outside. Side by side, wheel to wheel, as they race down the hill. Here comes the Aussie, fights wheel to wheel with the Great Dane. The championship leader has gone through. Mansell's almost in the gravel. Oliver Goethe moves up. He's now in position 4. Nicely done.
Great move indeed. You're absolutely right, Ian. An excellent move indeed. Goethe now ahead of Mansell. That's the title battle, of course, folks, between Mansell and Goethe. Lomko, though, bidding to yet again bring more points to his charge as well. Remember, he's top of the rookie classification as well. Lubin still leads, though. Fastest lap goes to him. Big chance for Freddie Lubin. If he can hang on to this, he can defend. We know he can. He's defended against this man on a few occasions as well. In in towards turn 1 they go. Simonazzi, though, still in third, as Lubin now makes his way through turn 1. There is Ollie Goethe, of course, winner of race 1. He's also looking for his second win this weekend, as they now make the climb up through towards Remus. There you see Christian Mansell, who's overtaken by Ollie Goethe on that previous lap. There you see Lomco just making a few moves in behind Freddie Lubin, just making him think a little bit, obviously moving into the mirrors. As there you see Daniel Nogales there at the rear, still with the field and working hard to try and stay with them as well. Drivex making a grandiose return this weekend, bringing Ayrton Simmons back into the fold. Of course, Simmons, a P3 sitter at Hungary as well. As now we see Simonazzi come out of Sloshgold at turn 4. They'll then make their way through the next double left-handers, the Wirth and Roche curves. Lubin leading them through. Lomco just in behind, just nursing the delta, just trying to stay in behind. Of course, he'll always have a chance. They have 19 laps to go. Plenty of opportunities for everyone on the circuit as Mansell dips into the gravel there.
Moment for the Australian in position 5. Has not really had the speed to fight for the lead this weekend. Almost threw it into the gravel. Great to see the young Spaniard, incidentally. We got a glimpse of Daniel Nogales in the Drivex car on debut in Euroformula Open and doing a fine job. Thrown into the deep end big time this weekend. Lubin across the line. There is Lomco in second place. Francesco Simonazzi. Now, George, we saw this morning. Francesco Simonazzi, as the race went on, he just got better and better. He started off pole position, didn't get the best start, but now the temperature in the Michelin tyres as the sun comes out to shine for what has to be the first time today. He's in the slipstream, as is Lomco on the back of Lubin. He covers his line there, too wide as they race up the hill. Watch Francesco in the background. There's Lomco on the outside. Francesco! Wow, almost makes the move on the race 2 winner as they race down the hill. Lubin under immense pressure from Lomco and also Simonazzi.
Very well positioned indeed from Simonazzi. He's hovering all over the rear. Lomco goes looking for that lead, but certainly Lubin again, the defensive masterclass that we see time after time. Lubin once again delivering for his team, but looking behind though, Simonazzi getting drawn into the fight, as is the championship leader, Ollie Goethe in 4th place though. Simonazzi holds the fastest lap of the race. He always seems to struggle with that race start, but as soon as he gets going, the pace gets quicker and quicker. He gets into the rhythm, gets himself up to speed, and he's now in 3rd, challenging now Vladislav Lomco for that 2nd place spot. Do not count out the Italian. This could be his lucky day, as now Frederick comes through the next double right-hander. He's got yet another lap that beckons after this one as the timer ticks downwards. There you see Simonazzi just in 3rd, Goethe just in behind as well, as they now work their way towards the Niki Lauda curve. It is still Lubin in 1st, Lomco in 2nd, Simonazzi in 3rd.
And George, Ollie is catching the leading trio, and as they start to fight, he drags himself into this battle, and that gives hope for Mansell in position 5 in car 71. We'll see if the Crypto Tower racing team have set that car up to come on later in the race. We know that the BBM racing team certainly do in position 3. As they go up the hill on lap 4 of 21, race 3, round 7 for 2022. There's Simonazzi in P3. The car will come good. He's done a magnificent job all weekend of looking after the Michelin tyres. There's Goethe as Simonazzi gets the tow, and Mansell in the background. P6, Josh Mason, Ayrton Simmons, the 2 British drivers, and then the 2 Spanish-speaking drivers, Alex Garcia and the young debutant, Daniel Nogales.
Yeah, wonderful indeed. All the cars pretty close together right now. Nothing really separates them. In fact, if you look at the current top 5, they're all pretty much within a second. Albeit if you look at the top 4, all of them within half a second near enough. Freddie Lubin currently holding on to a 6/10 advantage. That of Vladislav Lomco, who's probably a little bit more thoughtful about Simonazzi in behind him right now. Of course, those two in the rookie classification. Simonazzi showing such improvement time after time, race after race this season, ever since Hungary, where he had that chance and really did hammer home a great opportunity for himself, very nearly claiming the race lead as well from Christian Mansell, but returning yet again, certainly to Imola. He dazzled us with some more great moves. He's back again showing the pace here in race 3 here at this circuit of Red Bull Ring. Fastest lap this time for Vladislav Lomco, who looks to try and get closer to Freddie Lubin. He has done that. He is now within 6/10 as opposed to outside of 6/10. As now that Francesco works his way forward, Goethe in behind him too, pulling him along as well, with Mansell not far behind either as they take Remus. Still Lubin though, making his way out of turn 3, down through towards turn 4. Lomco now only 4/10 back.
George, Mansell in the background is really struggling with rear end traction and grip. on the 71 car, particularly at the exit of turn 6. He's run off into the gravel twice so far in the early stages of this race. So obviously the Crypto Tower Racing team have set that car up to come on later in the race. Simonazzi in position 3. Sits in behind Lomko, who gets the toe as well each time as they race down the hill from Frederick Lubin. Look at the entry from Simonazzi, turns right before he throws it in left. That's the corner where Mansell's struggling, and he's losing time for Goethe. Mason in position 6, Simmons, Garcia, Nogales. As we're about to approach 1/4 race distance, nicely done by Frederick Lubin from grid 2. Got the start, and he's led the first quarter of race 3 here at the Red Bull Ring. The sun is shining. Frederick in position 1.
Nogales has managed to get ahead of Alex Garcia as well. He's up into 8th place, so a wonderful display certainly from Daniel Nogales now. 8th place on this classification. Garcia down in 9th. Lubin still in front with Lomko just in behind as well. 2nd place, Simonazzi 3rd, as now they make the climb up through towards turn 3.
Yeah, that's a fantastic effort from Daniel.
Absolutely superb. Fresh from Spanish F4, making his debut this weekend in Euroformula. Such a competitive roster here, despite the small grid. These drivers are very competitive. Of course, Ollie Goethe taking a debut run in Formula 3 lately as well. Not to mention Mansell getting in the mix. Oh, in comes Garcia into the pit lane. Another issue, and he's been plagued with them all weekend. He had a problem in race 2, of course. Remember, he was part of a collision as well in the weekend. Certainly hasn't been ideal for him, and he's back in the pit lane yet again. Big dismay for the Mexican, as now we're watching Freddie Lubin out on top. The battle for first is amongst 4 drivers right now. Lubin, Lomko, Simonazzi and Goethe, with Mansell just in behind as well.
An electrical issue, we believe, for Garcia's car. The car was straight. He rolled into pit lane. The car was driving, but it didn't sound too good. The team are working on it, but for the moment, the Mexican from the North American Formula 4 Series, plural, both the US and Mexican Series, he's parked in pit lane. It looks as though his race is over. We pass 1/4 race distance, and still the front 3, just ahead of the championship leader, Lubin, Lomko, Simonazzi, and there is Ollie Goethe in the 96 Golf-inspired livery car. There's Mansell, just trying to stay with. A 1:25.3 for the leaders. Last time round, so they've dropped off their pace, and now Simonazzi gets the toe from Lomko as they race up the hill. There's Goethe in the background. There is Mansell, and a great job by Ayrton Simmons on debut, on returning to the Euroformula Open Series. Take a look at what has happened. I believe this is Garcia. No, it's Daniel Nogales. Well, holds on to it. Nicely done, Daniel. He's the debutant in the series. A wild ride through the gravel, doesn't panic, doesn't stress, just backs off the throttle straight ahead over the gravel and rejoins, still in position 8 with the impending retirement of Alex Garcia. Simonazzi still in position 3, finished P2 this morning. Would desperately like to take a debut victory in the Euroformula Open Series. He's 6th in the championship. He's 1 position ahead of the driver who's got one hand on the 2022 championship trophy. Of course, last year, Cameron Dass taking the title as Simonazzi dives down the inside. Lomko runs off the road. Oliver Goethe, the championship leader, watches this happen. Oh, wow. Simonazzi, one almighty attack, but Lomko holds him off for the moment.
I'm sure Freddie Lubin would thank him for that as well. If anything, it's actually boosted the gap between the pair. It's very nearly out by a second. Goethe, though, getting closer to Simonazzi. And I have to tell you, that would have frightened Lomko just a little bit as they now make the climb up through towards turn 3 again. Goethe is now getting closer. You can see him there in P4, the Golf livery, now starting to rear up on the BBM car, certainly just ahead of him now as they make their way up through Remus. There you see now Goethe so close and getting closer to the Great Dane, who currently is certainly looking to try and nestle in yet an 11th win this season if he can. Of course, he has to get through 3 cars in order to achieve that. Lubin, though, still on top. Lomko still holds the fastest lap of the race so far. He won't certainly get it on that previous lap, that's for sure, after running wide at that point. Obviously, Simonazzi testing him at that point on the circuit. As they now make their way into the next double left-handers. Lubin still holds the lead. 2 tenths have been brought back in by Lomko. Remember, that was out to nearly over a second. It's now 8 tenths now. Lubin on top. Tell you what, Lubin would really love a result such as this. An overall win would go a long way to his championship standings, because he is yet to claim one himself. So let's keep our eyes peeled. Can Lubin do it?
If Vlad Lomko does finish in 2nd place, he'll be very close to the back of Christian Mansell in the overall championship standings going into Monza in 2 weeks' time. Simonazzi tries again. That was an ambitious move from the Italian on the back of the adopted Frenchman. The victory lane driver in car 69 in position 2, checks his mirrors, and this time Simonazzi will get the toe. Goethe sits there in the background. This is an opportunity for Francesco Simonazzi. He tried in the Jochenring curves 2 laps ago. Goethe gets the toe off the BVM racing car as well. Freddie Lubin now with 1 second over the battle for second. There's Mansell in the background ahead of the British driver Josh Mason. A nice exit from Ollie Goethe. The same can be said for Simonazzi. It won't change this order at the moment as they lead down the back straight. Freddie Lubin, the gap down to 0.8 of a second. So a clean exit from those drivers. Nothing changes as they race down the hill. This roller coaster of a circuit, this world-famous circuit, built way back in 1970, replacing the former Zeltweg airfield circuit down at the bottom of the hill, which still exists. Held the 1963 Austrian Grand Prix for the World Championship points for the only time. A year after Jack Brabham won the race, although he got no points for the world title in that particular year. Lorenzo Bandini taking his only win for the Ferrari team, what, some 5 or 6 decades ago. The Red Bull Ring, the most picturesque circuit in the world. There is Oliver Goethe with the most beautiful single-seater racing car in the world, certainly in our opinion. He's in position 4. Simonazzi in P3. Lomko, the fastest driver on the circuit. He's done fastest lap after fastest lap, but he's 1 second off Lubin, who's just done a great time as Simonazzi gets ragged over the ripple strip at the exit of Niki Lauda turn 1. Approaching, in fact, we've passed half race distance. Race 3, round 7, the 2022 championship.
Yeah, absolutely right indeed. Lubin still doing an exceptional job of marshalling the defence here. He's come third twice, second 3 times. Never yet won this season. This is a huge day for Lubin if he can hold on. Still 11 laps still to go. Lomko in behind, fastest lap to his name, of course. Simonazzi down 2 places. Remember, he started on the P1 spot on the grid, and now he's got Goethe breathing down his neck in 4th place. There is a gap now forming between Mansell and Goethe as we see them rumble over the strips again. Leading out of turn 1, there you see Simonazzi, of course, trying to make his way through.
That was violent.
Very violent indeed. I can imagine they're feeling absolutely everything underneath that floor of that car as they make their way through the next right-hander before then venturing through Jochenring and then down through the Red Bull Mobile curve. Still, at this point in time, Vladislav Lomko trying to chase down Freddie Lubin, who leads this way, and well, leads at the moment with Simonazzi just in behind him. Still very much a battle ongoing right now with Goethe just locked in behind as they're now making their way down through towards turn 1. The gap now just under 0.4 of a second. At least it's coming down slowly. Simonazzi working hard against Lomko right now. Might have the overspeed out of turn 1, which will help him on the climb. He'll pull Goethe along with him as well. Great chance here if he can get close enough. Certainly it looks like Lomko might just have enough though, but we all know it's that exit out of turn 3 that is oh so vital. Simonazzi closer to Lomko than Goethe is to Simonazzi. Has a little look down the inside as well, showing in that right mirror, and will come out of turn 3, getting close, a little squirrely, but nevertheless okay.
That will cost Simonazzi coming down the hill. Oliver Goethe tries to catch up, tries to get the slipstream, and Lomko defends as Frederick Lubin now pulls away. He's got 1 second over this battle. In the background, Josh Mason is catching 2nd place in the championship. Christian Mansell passed half race distance as the sun is shining at the end of the European summer here in the Austrian countryside. Simonazzi, no one, apart from that unsuccessful attempt a few laps ago by Simonazzi, no one has really showed their hand yet. There's nothing left to lose. This is the final 10 laps of the weekend here at the Red Bull Ring. Lubin looking for his first victory of 2022. Lomko trying to go 2 in a row in the same day. In 2nd place, he did a string of fastest laps earlier. We'll check the times and check the gaps as they come across the line. Frederick Lubin now starting lap 12, and the distance back to Vladislav Lomko, 1.1 seconds. Simonazzi, he's good in Niki Lauda curve 1. Tries to get the run up the hill, just kisses the ripple strip, checks the left side mirror. The championship leader has dropped back. An opportunity for Simonazzi as they race up the hill. He's under the rear wing of Vladislav Lomko. Will he just send it down the inside as they race up the hill? Here's an opportunity. Watch him down into turn 3. Holds back, gets the run on the exit sideways from Lomko as Lubin skates away. He's got 1.1 seconds over this battle. Here comes the attack from the Italian. into turn 3. Will he just send it down the inside? Too far back, not this time.
No, not at all. Simonazzi's still there, though. He is not broken yet. He is still trying to get closer. 2/10 is all that separates them. Lomko has closed the gap to Lubin. 7/10 now between that pairing. But we all know Lubin can defend. We've seen it on multiple occasions as they come through the Roche and Wirth curves. And the Brit still holding on to the advantage, albeit though Lomko working hard. Simonazzi at 3/10 now in behind that of Lomko, is still sticking to that rear wing like glue. Goethe is now a second distance behind that of Simonazzi. Still in 4th and a 3.3 second gap to Christian Mansell in 5th spot, with Mason a second behind him. Is now watching the cars make their way down the home straight. Still in front is Freddie Lubin. Vladislav Lomko in 2nd, with Simonazzi plugged into the rear of his car right now, heading in towards turn 1. Goethe in 4th as they now climb on through, again rumbling over the sausage curves. You can just see how violently Simonazzi using all the track, using absolutely everything at his disposal here. He'll need something big on the ascent leading up towards turn 3 as they do make their way up now. Certainly is Lomko trying to hold on to that 2nd place. He covers the inside slightly, but Simonazzi, fed up of waiting, certainly did have a go as they now make their way out to turn 3. They'll have turn 4. That might have cost him a little bit of time, Simonazzi, and therefore he will not be able to attack Lomko heading in towards turn 4. But now Lomko, smelling a little bit of blood here, may fancy a go at Freddie Lubin. As a result, that gap now just over 0.6 of a second.
It was 1 second. He was very late under brakes, Vladislav Lomko. Oliver Goethe does not have the speed here this afternoon. He has to play his hand soon because we're running out. We're well into the second half of the race. And the same could be said for Christian Mansell, apart from a 2nd place yesterday when we had the race finish in, well, let's just say controversial circumstances. We'll leave it at that for the moment. But Mansell has not got the speed here on Sunday, September 11, and Goethe, the championship leader, in position 4. There's Simonazzi. He has to do something spectacular in the remaining 7 laps as they exit the Jochen Rindt curves. Has to get by Lomko. He was the fastest driver on the circuit earlier. Now he gets the slipstream 240 k's an hour as they head up into turn 1. Goethe's losing touch. Now Lomko on the back of Freddie Lubin. So close to his maiden victory in Euroformula Open 2022. Simonazzi gets the toe from Lomko.
Yeah, Simonazzi getting closer and closer. He's recovered the time gap that he did lose. If anything, he might be closer than that as they now make their way up towards turn 3. He doesn't try it this time. He's going to remain sensible. Also, Lomko has closed up to Lubin, so it's brought the train right up close and personal once again. 3/10 is all that separates Lubin and Lomko. And of course, no toe for Lubin, as now Lomko might choose to offset the pressure from Simonazzi by going for a move into Slosh Gold. Not this time, though. Still in front, Lubin. 3/10 back, Lomko, who still holds that fastest lap. Simonazzi 2/10 in behind. Very, very close equilateral between the front 3, with Goethe in behind now. 1.2, Goethe struggling now, 1.2 seconds. That's 2/10 more than what we saw earlier on. It was a second before, it's 1.2 now. There is the Great Dane, of course, championship leader, and able to get closer to Simonazzi, whose pace has been absolutely extraordinary all weekend long.
Stand by, ladies and gentlemen. We're moving into the final quarter of the final race in round 7 of the championship. At the moment, it is Lubin, Lomko, Simonazzi. I'll suggest to you it will not finish in that order at the moment. That's how they run. Oliver Goethe trying to drag himself into this fight for the lead. Nothing left here this weekend. The Michelin tyres are being tortured. The sun is actually shining for the first time this weekend, which will raise the temperature. Now Simonazzi gets the toe. Oliver Goethe almost helpless in P4. Trying to drag himself into this battle. Look at Simonazzi, too far back. Lomko has closed the back on Lubin. It was 1 second, and now he's tucked in right behind the rear wing of car 78. The Brit under pressure in position 1. White lines it as they race down the back straight into the Roush curve. Will he send it down the inside? Goes in deep, thinks about it, late under brakes. Simonazzi goes with him. They do not change the order yet. All the while, the leading trio pull away from the championship leader, Oliver Goethe. He's losing time, but as they fight, he'll be right there to pounce. The final quarter of race 3 here at the Red Bull Ring.
Yeah, I think Lubin is just tempting Simonazzi into the scrap. I think he wants Lomko and Simonazzi to go at it here. You saw Lomko, he's thought about it heading into Slosh Gold on a few occasions, but he's had to say, don't know about that just yet. Simonazzi is still very much on my tail, and now once again, Lubin starting to pull away at this point. He's pulled a gap and trying to enforce Simonazzi to make that overtake for second place. As you can now see them coming down that home stretch as well. Goethe also coming in to join the fight. He's now back into a second. He was within a second before. It was 8/10, and in fact, it's gone back to 8/10 now once again as they come through turn one and take it to sausage curbs again. Lomko and Simonazzi very similar in the way they took that first corner. Goethe now coming in closer and closer as they make the ascent up through towards turn three yet again, this time with 5 laps remaining in this race. Lubin on course if he can keep this up for his first win this season. What that could mean to him, I tell you what, there'll be all smiles in the garage. Such a great talent. I'm sure we'll be delighted as well. Simonazzi getting close yet again. You can just see the three of them. You cannot separate them at this point as they now take the descent into Sloshgold, the downhill point of the circuit, before they then venture through the Roche and Berth curves. Lubin still leads.
Here we go. Lomko runs a little bit wide and Simonazzi senses the opportunity to go by the race 2 winner, the BVM 84 race car on your screen. A couple of seasons in Formula 4. They debuted this car at Imola in 2021 in the Top Jet series just to shake it down. Racing in the last couple of rounds in 2021. He's had a fantastic season. Talking about Simonazzi, he's in position 3. He finished position 2 this morning. He's in 3rd place over the back of the race 2 winner, Vladislav Lomko, as Goethe runs wide in the background. Come on, boys, nothing left on the table here this afternoon. 4 laps remaining in the final race of round 7 here at the Red Bull Ring. Simonazzi dives down the inside, tucks back in. Here we go, Simonazzi for 2nd place. Lomko sideways on the exit as they climb the hill. Just holds enough of a gap, but Simonazzi gets the slipstream. It is only half a second between these two and the leader, Frederick Lubin, looking at his first victory for 2022. Simonazzi sends it down the inside. He's too far back. He has to stay in 3rd place. Lomko incredibly defends from the Italian.
Yeah, he's getting closer and closer. He's trying to upset the balance with Lomko's race so far. He's trying to make him make a mistake in force and error, but coming down into Sloshgold, Lomko still able to hold on. Now that will help Lubin slightly because of course it was in fact Lomko that ran wide. Therefore it's cost him a little bit of time to that of Lubin, who is currently sitting in that P1 spot, getting very in the bunch here. 4/10 now still remain though. Lubin starting to pull that outwards as they now head through this next left-hander before they venture into sector 3 proper. Still Lubin leads. Simonazzi currently peppering the rear of Vladislav Lomko. Olli Goethe still there as well. Christian Mansell down in 5th, trying to close the gap at 4.1 seconds currently as things stand. It's not working. Simonazzi running very wide, heading down in towards turn 10 as they now venture down this long straight. Lubin still leads, 6/10 to Lomko, only in behind.
George, I won't say race 2 was ruined by race penalties this morning. Let's just say it was affected. And we're just getting word from race control. No penalties yet, but car 69, which is Lomko, in P2, final warning for the dreaded track limit. We're on to the 3rd last lap of the race, the 3rd last lap of the weekend. The final opportunity for Lomko to take his 2nd victory. And the final opportunity for both Lubin and Simonazzi to take their maiden victory in the series. Lubin, he must be feeling immensely pressured, but he's driven superbly. He's defended. Here comes Lomko, gets the toe and gives the slipstream also to Simonazzi. This is the 3rd last lap of the race. Too far back is Simonazzi from Lomko, and likewise Lomko from Lubin.
Absolutely right. 3 laps to go. Lubin in front, 4/10 the gap. Simonazzi in 3rd, just trying to watch for any mistake that Lomko might make. Simonazzi would like nothing more than a win on this occasion himself. Gets close all the time, as does Freddie Lubin. And 18 laps gone. We've still got 3 to go. Lubin now makes his way down through towards sector 3 proper, heading through Jochenrindt curve. Goethe, still a second back, is not really delved into that 2nd advantage, but still nevertheless running wide. Simonazzi yet again. He is really pushing, really wanting to have a crack here at Vladislav Lomko. They're making their way down through towards turn 1 again. Has that upset the balance slightly? He looks okay as they make their way down through towards turn 1 at the Niki Lauda curve. Still Lubin on top. Simonazzi once again following every move that Lomko makes, just tracking him right now. Goethe as well coming into the scrap as they make their way up the hill once again. Lomko getting closer now to Freddie Lubin as they head up through towards turn 3. If he gets the right exit, it could mean we could yet see a battle heading around turn 4. 4. Does look in the mirrors. Maybe makes Lubin make a mistake. Not this time. Lubin able to hold on. He's smarter than that as they head out to turn 3. Simonazzi a bit further back, but now as they make their way down through towards turn 4, Lomko is closing. He's aware that the clock is ticking. Simonazzi there as well, waiting for any mistake. Not this time. They still lie in tandem. A lock up there from Simonazzi as they head out of turn 4.
5 miles to race less than. In fact, this is the penultimate lap of the race. Here we go. Lubin looking for his maiden victory. Lomko for win number 2 if he can get by the Brit. And Simonazzi, it would be a maiden win also for the Italian. And welcome back to BVM Racing. They raced in Euroformula Open in the middle part of last decade. They're in position 3 ahead of the championship leader on this, the penultimate lap of the race. Frederick Lubin under immense pressure. He'll get the last lap board next time round. Vladislav Lomko has to be careful through turns 9 and 10. A clean line from the Po Grand Prix winner. This is the last lap of the race. Lubin, Lomko, Simonazzi and Oliver Goethe.
Here they go, final lap now, as we can now see the cars working their way through turn 1. Lubin still holds the advantage over the rumble strips. Indeed, in behind now, could open the door for Lomko. Could the pressure be getting to Lubin as they now head up through towards turn 3? The car's now getting closer and closer. Lomko has an opportunity here on the final lap. Outside line though, but this time Lubin goes to the inside and defends. Though this is an opportunity. Simonazzi with a huge chance, given the overspeed, leading down towards Slosh Gold. There you see now Vladislav Lomko side by side with Lubin, who holds the inside. Simonazzi going for it. Oh, dearie me, Lubin dropping back. A lock-up for Lubin, who tries to defend the second place. Goethe now in the fight as well. Lomko leads here at the final stages of this race.
Lomko will win the race. Simonazzi down the inside. Vladislav Lomko is on his way to his second victory. Heartbreak for Frederick Lubin. Simonazzi up into second place. Oh, you have to feel for Frederick. He's back into P4. He's not even on the podium. Vladislav Lomko, 2 corners to race and take his second victory on today, September 11, 2022. Down through the Jochenring corner for the final time. The checkered flag is about to wave. Vladislav Lomko wins race 3 at the Red Bull Ring in Austria. Simonazzi second for the second time today. Goethe consolidates his lead in the championship in P3. And heartbreak for Frederick Lubin after leading for 20 of 21 laps. In fact, he's fallen way back. Christian Mansell has finished in P4. Josh Mason in P5. Can you believe what you've just seen? Vladislav Lomko, credit to him. He's taken the victory for the second time in, 8 hours here at the Red Bull Ring. Absolute heartbreak for Frederick Lubin, who's crossed the line in position 7.
Sensational moment indeed. This was the catalyst, obviously, for what had happened. Obviously, coming out of turn 3, Lubin went very defensive, trying to defend. Oh, and there's a touch of the wing as well. Now, that could be the cause of the lockup heading into turn 4. Of course, that was a puncture. If you look at the tyre on the rear left as we look at it, rear right for Lubin, you could see just how the tyre is just not working. It's rumbling there, of course, after the contact with Vladislav Lomko. And that is, of course, what led to it. And there's the spin. There's the tyre away from the rim as well. That is absolute devastation and heartbreak for Freddie Lubin, leading the majority of this race onto the final lap as well. But after all that, it's for naught. He crosses the line, though, to his credit. 7th place is all he could muster. But it's going to be a 4th race win for Vladislav Lomko. There's Freddie Lubin jumping out of the car. Really unfortunate for Freddie Lubin. But here are the results. Vladislav Lomko claims his 4th win of the season. Francesco Simonazzi, a second P2 to his name this race weekend, with Oliver Goethe claiming a podium at the end of it all in P3. Mansell in 4th, with Josh Mason in 5th. Ayrton Simmons returns again, P6. Frederick Lubin, after that dismay during that race, in P7. Daniel Nogales finished in 8th. And unfortunately, we lost Alex Garcia through the race as well. Here's the Drivers' Championship. How it looks right now, 412 points goes to Oli Goethe so far this season. Christian Mansell in 2nd, 326, 86 points back. Getting closer though, Vladislav Lomko, 322. He's edging closer to Mansell in the championship. I am sure that Vlad Lomko is going to skip out of his cockpit right now with delight. A 2nd win this weekend, the Po Grand Prix win as well. And this is going to be his 4th win of the season too. And getting closer in this championship fight, he celebrates here, Vladislav Lomko. Absolute delight, but 5-second time penalty to be added to the race time.
Simonazzi wins.
Incredible, Simonazzi. He doesn't know it yet, I don't think, but he's going to be a race winner.
Simonazzi has
That's
won the
incredible.
race.
He is a winner. He doesn't know it, I don't think, but he is a race winner for the first time this season. Incredible. Francesco, I don't think he knows, Ian.
Absolutely not. We are dumbstruck down here in the commentary position, and Francesco Simonazzi has just taken, he doesn't know it yet, Francesco hai vinto, a 5-second penalty for this incident between what was the race winner originally, Vlad Lomko. Now he knows it, as our timing screen corrects itself.
Oh, the emotions are running high. I'm looking down in the commentary box. There's the pictures we're seeing. There's a big hug being expressed here. This is going to be the response. He can't believe it. There you have it. Oh, incredible scenes. It's come at last, Francesco. Oh, incredible pictures here.
Heartbreak for Vladislav Lomko, the victory lane managed driver, drove it down into victory lane in position 1. But a 5-second penalty, it drops him to P3, so the fight for second, and indeed the championship, it is still on as we go to Monza in 2 weeks' time. We'll try and listen in. Oh, wow.
Well, a big moment in this race for sure. Vladislav Lomko, who looked to have the race win, it's only 3 now. He comes 3rd in this particular event. Ollie Goethe promoted to 2nd place as a result of the penalty. The Great Dane, more points going to his locker, but a Cinderella story here to cap off a wonderful Austrian race weekend. Certainly, it is Francesco Simonazzi.
Surprise winner after the flag, but certainly a very well-deserved winner. Win after all you showed in the recent races, so you must be very happy.
I'm surprised and happy as well, because we were battling for the first point, for the first position, for all the races, and then all of a sudden the last lap they started battling, and so I took the opportunity to overtake Lubin. So I'm shocked, surprised, and most of all happy.
But it feels good, right?
Of course, 100% good.
Well done. Enjoy the moment at the podium now.
Thanks.
Bravo.
The highlights of race 3 here at the Red Bull Ring. Simonazzi started from pole position. Didn't get the best getaway, though, as Frederick Lubin from the outside of the front row of the grid shot up into turn 1 in position 1. Christian Mansell tried to go down the inside. The Australian was briefly into 3rd place, didn't get the run and fell back into the clutches of Josh Mason. Wheel to wheel with the championship leader went Mansell. Goethe around the outside moved up a place as the Mexican Alex Garcia would retire. Vlad Lomko on the back of Frederick Lubin, who for the most part of the race withstood the pressure tremendously. They made contact in the dying stages. Frederick Lubin, after leading from lap 1 to lap 20, suffered a puncture, locked up. Simonazzi on the outside into P2 would go by, pressured by the championship leader. Absolute heartbreak for Frederick Lubin. A damaged, punctured right rear Michelin tyre would cross the line in position 7. Vladislav Lomko took the checkered flag, but copped a 5-second penalty. Francesco Simonazzi takes his maiden victory in Euroformula Open. What a sensation here in race 3, right in the dying stages. Nothing really changed for the first 20 laps, and in the final 3 or 4 kilometres, it all kicked off. P3, Vladislav Lomko. P2, the championship leader, Ollie Goethe. P1 for the first time in his career, the Italian for BVM Racing. The top step of the podium, Francesco Simonazzi. A sensational finish at the Red Bull Ring. Vladislav Lomko, Oliver Goethe, and Francesco Seminazzi is standing on the top step for the first time. From here, we go to his home circuit, Monza. He doesn't live too far away from the Italian circuit. And he's about to spray the champagne and give us all a shower. We're pretty much wet from the rain which has persisted all weekend. Vlad first to pop the top on the champagne. There's Ollie and Francesco. George, that was a sensational finish. From here, we go to Monza, home circuit for Francesco Simonazzi. He must be feeling incredibly confident.
Certainly heading into the weekend, it's always beneficial to get yourself up on top as well. Francesco Simonazzi not only claim to the overall win, but also will take a rookie win as well. And how about this? Lining up on the podium as well for this weekend, it is Daniel Nogales who will take the rookie P3 heading into the podium celebrations. He will be pleased, obviously, just to cement his position here in this championship. Great to have him aboard as well. Always great to see the new drivers coming through and working their way through the system. Obviously, plenty to offer at this young age. And as they develop and they become great drivers, who knows what their careers will unfold into.
Fantastic effort from Daniel Nogales. As we've mentioned a couple of times, he stepped up from the Spanish Kart Racing Championships in 2021 into these beautiful Euroformula cars. Pretty much what Enzo Trulli did in 2021 as well. Both former Kart Republic drivers and both straight into Euroformula F3 cars. Daniel Nogales take a bow, finishing third in the rookie podium under difficult circumstances. The Spanish driver, the Spanish team, welcome back also to DriveX. We'll see them at Monza in 2 weeks' time, and of course their home round, the season final at Barcelona in mid-October. As we get ready for the rookie podium as well here in Austria. The sun even came out to shine in the middle of that race. Now it's disappeared and the temperature is dropping. Third place, the Spaniard for Team DriveX, Daniel Nogales.
Out comes Vladislav Lomko now, taking the second podium slot. And taking number one yet again, it is the almighty Francesco Simonazzi. His first weekend on top. Yet again, this time the rookie podium for BBM Racing. A sensation here this weekend. They will lift the trophies aloft. Vladislav Lomko in second, Daniel Nogales in third place.
Thanks for your company. On behalf of myself, Ian Silvestrin, and George Morgan, we'll see you at Monza, the temple, the cathedral of speed, for the penultimate round in 2 weeks' time. We'll see you then.